And backstory, he actually was a serial entrepreneur, so he was a real businessman. He maybe still is, but like, business. And without spirituality. And now he is a spiritual entrepreneur, or he tries to bring entrepreneurship and spirituality together. And today he will share a little bit about the vision of Colibri, which is not just a festival, but it's a bigger ecosystem, a bigger idea for something. I'm not gonna share more. I think Constantin is gonna share everything with you. And afterwards, if you have any questions, we'll have a mic going around and you can ask your questions. And with that, please welcome Constantin.
Thank you so much for being here. It's quite hot, so I really appreciate you taking the time and being curious and listening. It means a lot. Thank you. My name is Constantin. I thought I'd quickly reintroduce myself because not everybody knows me, and share a little bit about the history where I come from, where we come from, and where we have, in what direction we are dreaming, and what we are doing. And I also would like to invite you. I want this to be a little bit interactive going forward, so it would be amazing to hear some questions from you. So maybe you want to collect your questions, and I want to be very responsive and interactive. So this should not be just like me talking. So. But I'm going to share a little bit. So I grew up in Austria. My name is Constantin. I have three sisters. I'm super happy that two of them are here. They just met my son Leo for the first time. It's very beautiful that they connect. I grew up in a big family. I feel like I had an entrepreneurial gene since I was a young 14-year-old. I started my first company, and I always felt the urge to create something and to put a market together and to create an animal club when I was a child. And then, when I was 14, I started the first company. It was around photography. I was a photographer in a school for children, the yearbook photography. And I was also a photographer. Worked for model agencies, and then I kind of took this model agency setup into the schools and made like model photos of the children, and it was quite successful. And I did this until my whole journey of being a student, and studying was never really my thing. I was really never really interested in the content that was being taught in school and university, but I went there because my friends were there and it was fun. And I started a few companies, mostly in technology, actually 7 different companies. And I was kind of like always driven by creating something, and always different things. Like mostly I had no clue, like actually all the time I had no clue of what I'm actually doing. It was just bringing demand and supply together and create something. And so the one was a marketplace for commercial vehicles. It was my kind of first real business. And then it was before it was an online gaming company where we created online games to raise awareness for charities for endangered dolphins together with the World Wildlife Fund. And then I started an e-commerce company for fashion, selling the overstocks of brands. It was quite successful. We got to 10 million members in less than 2 years. And then we sold that to eBay. And it was a wild ride. It was one of the web, I would say 1.0 kind of like e-commerce stories in Germany. And I was kind of lucky enough to be in this game. And it was one of the rocket ships at that time, the first big exit to eBay, to a big international company. And then with this success, I was kind of like, well, I can own the world and rule the world. And then I was traveling, and I was kite surfing from Alaska to Russia, and I was kind of like adrenaline seeking. And I said I want to travel as long as I get really bored. And the biggest gift actually of this exit was that I said I want to invite my whole family and spend quality time with me. And So I invited my father, and they could choose the destination. I said the obligation is that you have to stay minimum 2 weeks, and just you. So because before it was just like, always in between and family gatherings and never really quality time. So that was really beautiful. So my father came to Brazil. My mother came to Thailand, and we went to Myanmar, and she wanted to see 10 temples every day. I was like, after the second, I was like, it's enough. But she was like on fire, and my sister 1 came to Maui, sister 2 came to Bali, sister 3 came to the Caribbean. So it was really, really beautiful. So that was a beautiful gift. And then I started somehow in New York. I founded a vegan food company called Aloha. Our mission was to upgrade everything what people eat, but in the healthiest possible way. I had a big vision about this, to have like many products and really upgrade everything. And it was a bit of a challenge because in America everybody can say I'm healthy even though they are not healthy. The FDA regulations are, in terms of marketing, quite weak. So we were actually the ones that were healthy. They didn't use any artificial flavors or anything. And then vitamin water, for example, comes and say, we are healthy, and it's vitamin water, but it's sugar water with some chemicals. And so it was quite difficult. Now the company, like almost 10 years later, is quite a big success. Now you can find the Aloha protein bars in Whole Foods and in Target and everywhere. But I dropped out before. So for me personally, was a painful experience because I didn't reach that big success that I was dreaming of. But it was a good learning curve. I realized that I'm a good visionary and I'm a good brand builder. I can detect trends early, and I'm not the best operator. I'm not very good in operations and leading people. I'm more like a crazy visionary, and I didn't bring a good, I would say, good CEO and a good management team early on. So it was a very good learning. And I paid my price because I didn't really make any money. Now the company is worth 400 million, but I didn't see any of this. So it was a painful experience for me because the vision was bigger and it was my brand, and somebody else took it and he made the money. So anyway, it's not. It kind of really grounded me. And then I went to Germany. I started a company in the dental, like digital dental space, straightening teeth with invisible aligners. The patent of Invisalign was running out, and we kind of saw an opportunity to jump in there. And hi, Nelly. And so that went well because I actually had the idea, and I brought the investors, and I brought three co-founders to run the show. And they are really good operators, and I was kind of more in behind the scenes, and it was a quite fast rollout. Anyway, so this is kind of my business thing, and I was always running and chasing something, but I didn't really know. And I was in a relationship with my ex-partner, and it was 7 years, and I was never really fully committed. And then somehow I felt like, okay, I cannot separate from her, so maybe she's meant to be my partner. And then we married. And then after 6 months, the marriage went nowhere, so we separated. And it was quite painful for me. And my best friend asked me, Constantin, did you ever think about your life? And I was like, I actually never thought about my life. I was just running, chasing adrenaline, chasing money, chasing dream success. And he said, when I split up with my ex, I went camping by myself to Spain, and it changed his life. 2 months by himself. I was never by myself. So I kind of liked the idea, and I was like, okay, camping is not for me in Spain, but maybe there's something else. And then I thought that I experienced ayahuasca before, just one time outside of Los Angeles in a not very sacred setting. But I had a not like big awakening, but I had like a small mini awakening. So I thought, okay, maybe there's more to it. So the medicine didn't call me for more than 10 years, but I thought, okay, maybe there's some more magic behind it. And then I somehow felt the call to go to the roots where this medicine comes from, and it drew me to Peru. And it drew me to a tribe called Shipibo, and they've been working with the medicine since thousands of years. It's deeply rooted in their culture. And I randomly ended up in a very, very simple, very, very beautiful place in the middle of the jungle, outside, 3 hours outside of Iquitos, and I had no expectations really. And it was the second ceremony that completely changed my life. And I did not expect anything, but I also, before I didn't believe in anything. I thought there's something, but I did not believe in anything. But all of a sudden, it felt like the universe started to talk to me and gave me very, very clear messages. And the first message was, Constantin, you need to heal your heart. I was like, my heart is okay, it's beating, I don't have heart problems. But Constantin, you are out of balance. You are like, your feminine is out of balance and your masculine. I didn't also not really know what that means, left side and right side. But the message was, you are out of balance, you need to heal your heart. And the second message was, once you are on the path, you should also help others and use your gifts of making things happen to help others to heal their heart and to find transformation and create safe spaces for transformation. It was very precise and very clear. I even got names of people that kind of support me on that mission. And it was a very, very clear message from the universe, which I had no idea what the universe is. But it was so profound and so strong that I completely followed this path. So based on this experience, I sold all my shares, all my company stuff, and I kind of like decided to follow my healing path. And then I realized really what it means that I need to heal my heart, because I realized my heart was broken. And I had a very big black stone sitting on my heart, blocking me from true love and from loving myself and loving others. I realized that I had traumas carrying with me more than 25 years. I did not know that I have this trauma, but it was actually plant medicine that helped me, but not ayahuasca. In this case, it was iboga, where I had the random opportunity to be part of a iboga ceremony with a friend, a doctor that devoted his life to help Navy SEALs to recover from PTSD. And he asked me to support his mission, and he invited me to be part of this ceremony in random. I was in Costa Rica, and he invited 3 Navy SEALs on this retreat, and he asked me if I want to be part of it. And I said, yeah, okay, I don't have a trauma, so I'm good, but I'm curious, so I'm just a curious guy, so I want to experience it. And that was when I really discovered that I was carrying a big trauma, and nothing really spectacular. It was probably like my first big love that I was very much in love with when I was 18, my first girlfriend, and she cheated on me with including 2 of my best friends, and my heart was so open, and then it was like boom, and then it went boom, and then she cheated on me with many others, and then it came like this. And then I had another girlfriend. After I recovered from this first love, and I fell in love again, and then I lost her to anorexia. She was not ready to love, and then I realized, and I don't know, I was so hurt that my heart completely blocked, and I did not know that, but I was not able to say I love you to anyone for 27 years, and it was because of this iboga ceremony that I realized that I was carrying this trauma. And that's probably also rooted with some mother issues and many traumas. But that kind of released something, and I realized I'm carrying a trauma because I didn't know I have a trauma. And then I continued on my healing path, and I found love again. And love and forgiveness. I actually had a period of half of a year where I was calling all the people that I held grudges with, or I had kind of something going on, I was angry with, or they were angry with me, or there was a fight, and it was never resolved. And I called them out of the blue, and I said, I'm sorry, I love you, I'm sorry. And I know that you are my teacher, and you did not mean it that way. And it was so beautiful to witness their reaction, and just so liberating for me to not be angry with this ex-girlfriend or the guys or the people that cheated on me in the businesses, or like it was just so liberating to forgive them and also to forgive myself, and to realize also why I was probably hurting many people because I was just very, very hurt. And so the forgiving part was so liberating. And then I slowly discovered love again, and then I was like, okay, this is amazing. Now I can spiritually fuck around and experience this love without any commitment. And then I somehow met Evie, and we sent each other some. I was signing up to a hashtag on Instagram, Tantra, and Evie was writing something about Tantra, and I sent her a blue butterfly. And she sent me a blue butterfly back. And then we said, okay, let's meet. And then we met somewhere on the lake in Austria. And she just came out of a 7-year relationship. And she was not ready for any commitment. And I was really enjoying my time. And then we had a beautiful time together. And then when we left, we said, I told her, hopefully you don't believe that we're going to get married and have children now, right? So now we are married and we have a child and we want So I found love again with Evie, and before I was never really committed, and now I'm 1000% committed, and we are committed, and it's just magical what's sprouting out of here. But to come back to Colibri, like we said, okay, let's continue on a healing path, because she was also on a healing path, and we said, let's go to India, spend 2 years to yoga teacher trainings in India. And we said, okay, before we go to India, I told her, I know this woman, Ignaziano, is sitting here. She showed me a place called Corfu before I met Evie, and I fell in love with this place. I felt it was very beautiful, and I told her, before we go to India, let's stop here for a month. And after the first week, we both did a little mushroom ceremony, and we both received the same message. It was like, whatever you guys are looking for in the world is actually here. And you are meant to be here. You should buy this place, which was for sale at that time. And you should find some land and forget about doing something in Costa Rica or in Bali or anywhere. You're European. Here is the place for you to ground and anchor, and we're going to give you further directions. So we just said yes. Basically, that same day, I called the guys, said we want to buy the house. And then this land came to us. Beautiful owners. She was just here, Harula, and the mother, who was the guardian of this place before. We have a very beautiful relationship with them. She handed over the key to this property for us to be caretakers. I don't like the word actually caretaker. We like to be the caregivers. And we never planned to do a festival. If you mentioned that before, it was never the plan. Somebody else wanted to do a festival, actually Tony from Akapisoi, and he said, let's do a festival and you give the land, I organize everything. We said yes. And then we said, yeah, but we want to do it a little bit different. We want to bring indigenous, we want to bring amazing people. And then all of a sudden he got a bit scared and he said, oh, it's too big. And then he said, like a few weeks before the festival, I'm out. Sorry guys, I love you, but I'm out. And we were like, oh, he's out, but he's organizing the festival. And then we were like, okay, we looked at each other and we said, okay, now actually, I guess it's us who have to do it. Luckily, there was Ryo. He said, I'm in. And then we said, okay, let's do this. And there was nothing on this land. And actually, the first day, when we opened the doors at 8 o'clock, I was working until 4, like with the construction team, like building up everything. And we continued at 6, and we were still working when people were checking in, so it was quite last minute. And but it somehow worked out to become from the beginning on, a very, very beautiful gathering. And the feedback that we got and the energy and vibration that we felt from the people that were participating was so enriching and so nourishing, and we felt like, okay, this is really meaningful what we do, so we have to continue to do that. And it was also so beautiful. I see my dear friend Orpheus, who plays a very big role in my healing part. I had the privilege to be with him, and he has a beautiful place in Costa Rica called Be Home in the jungle. in Tina Masters, a beautiful place, and it usually there he runs retreats, and it was COVID, and there was nobody, and it was just me and him. So he was my teacher, more or less private. I ended up almost 6 months together with this beautiful man, and trying to learn as much as possible from the quote-unquote spiritual toolkit. We did everything from vipassana, fasting, qigong, tai chi, Chinese medicine, medicines like plant medicines, and all these things that helped me on my finding a little bit more out about myself, which I never did self-work before. So we kind of felt a call to create a place where we can invite the most inspiring people that inspire us, and to give them a stage to those who are ready to learn and to also be inspired, or even to inspire, and ideally take the inspiration, the learnings and the teachings and the healing, and then take it somewhere in the world and replicate that and nourish it, and kind of sprout it, and really let these seeds grow. And at some point, Evie received the message that we should call this Colibri. The Colibri Spirit came to her, and she said, "This is called Colibri." And we're like, "Wow, this is Colibri. Colibri, this is beautiful being that's so playful and so agile and so dramatic in terms of capabilities and flexibility, and some of them fly hundreds of kilometers, and they can fly in all directions and hover, and they're so resilient, and they fly from one nectar to the next, and they are sharing the beauty, and they stand in many indigenous cultures for ancestral wisdom and for so many beautiful things." And we felt like, wow, the Colibri, that feels very much like, I don't know, it was not like a second thought. It was like, yeah, that's it, Colibri, Colibri Spirit, that's it. So we started this, and then we realized actually it's not just, it sounds like a lot of fun, and it is a lot of fun to create something like this, but it's also a lot of work. Like a lot of work, actually. We work a year long for this gathering. And there were many moments when we were like, I started 7 companies, I sold 3 or 4, and I had some good investments. I was like, I don't really need to work. I mean, I don't need to work. I had a lot of savings. And then I was like, why are we doing this? Like, why do we have to deal with all this? And I tried to kind of like push it away. I was like, okay, we did it once, it's fine. Let's do something else. But it came back, and we couldn't push it away. And then I realized that whenever I hear chainsaw on one of these lands here, I got my heart, like when I was in meditation or something, I completely got distracted. I was like, there's a chainsaw on a land that's not even mine, but I felt like I need to protect this land. I don't want this land to be built on by some money-driven investor projects to build another Airbnb or build another ugly concrete hotel complex and trying to make money out of nature's beauty. I felt like this super strong calling to protect this land, because I've been in places like Bali. I was in Canggu 25, 30 years ago, and it was just rice fields, and it was just beautiful. And now I come back to Canggu, and it's just high-rise built, and not high-rise, but huge, big money projects just driven by private equity funds, or like like they just want to milk the cow. And it makes me really sad. And I've seen this in Tulum, I've seen this in Ibiza, I've seen this in many places. And I feel like this place has so much magic, is so under the radar. There's all these spirits and this vibration here. We need to conserve this place. I need to protect this place, and I need to do everything that I can to kind of like prevent this, because I know that these people want to sell, like the locals want to sell. They want to sell, they want to make money, they are not really attached to these lands. And actually, when we saw what the locals we bought this land did with the money, they bought some apartments for their children in Athens, and they were really, they were doing something with it. They didn't buy a Ferrari or something, they kind of like do something, and we said, okay, it's not a bad thing to buy land, actually, and do something nice. We could have a hotel license here. We could build 4,000 square meter of a concrete bunker here, and we decided not to use any concrete. And we decided to create this as a sacred temple site, and we decided not to build a villa on here and put it on Airbnb. So we decided to make this a public, or not 100% public, but a curated place for transformation. And we decided to plant every year thousands of plants and to make this place more beautiful and help nature to come back and to do something good with this land. And this is what this calling is, a deep innate calling that I have to do with these lands around here, and to create something that is hopefully in harmony with the spirit of the land, with nature, and also allows occasions for healing. So we feel like the Colibri Spirit Festival is kind of a little bit the tip of the iceberg, or it's kind of like the top of a funnel. Beautiful souls like you come here because we are drumming the bush drums, right? I mean, you saw it, you see it, you hear it, right? Not everybody resonates. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, our group is a very small group, right? I mean, there's apparently 2,000 people coming to this festival. It's a big number, but in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing, right? Still, the majority is still enjoying their gin tonic and their burgers and their cocktails in their all-inclusive hotels. But there is a group like you that resonate to this frequency, and you feel a calling to come here. And we feel there's more people like these. And we feel we want to be surrounded with these people, and we want people like you to be around us. Also selfishly, because we love to have beautiful people around and we love to be inspired. And Leo loves you guys, and Leo loves music. Every time he sees a speaker or like an instrument, he goes, he wants to dance. And we said, let's do more of this. Let's create this festival. Let's bring people here, show them the magic of the frequency of this Dragon Island, of the ley lines, of the beauty of the nature and the beauty of this land. And then so many of you are teachers, healers, facilitators. So our mission is actually to create spaces for you so you can share your magic. We want to give you a stage to share your magic, or we want to give you a stage or a place where you can receive healing from the healers. So our mission feels like we want to curate the people that are inspiring, that are kind of adding value to our, what we call co-creating heaven on earth mission, to bring them here and to give them a stage to communicate their message and their magic, and to bring this together, to bring the teachers and those who are ready to receive together in places. And the festival is one very intense place, like a buffet where you can try a little bit of everything, right? And then you say, oh, this Orpheus guy, he really resonates to me, or this Mattias de Stefano, or whoever, you know, maybe you see somebody that you've never heard of and you say, wow, I really love the frequency of this person. So ideally we have then the opportunity for this person to give a retreat here, a week long, 2 weeks, or an immersion, 1 month, a teacher training, whatever. So this is what we feel is our next evolution after the festival, to create retreat spaces where people can also stay in a closed container. You don't have to still go to an apartment complex here or something, but you can stay on the land. There's beautiful teachers and beautiful offerings all the time with immersions, retreats. And then we are opening the Colibri Beach, as you probably have heard, this land, we call it Colibri Beach, but it's this, what we think is a sanctuary here. We're gonna keep this open for the whole season with a daily offering, also daily morning activations, yoga, qigong, tai chi, kung fu, and breath work, and all the beautiful things, just in a smaller container, not so big and crowded. So we want to keep that, and then add more, slowly more opportunity for accommodations. And also here we want to be very inclusive, because I had the opportunity to travel quite extensively in the world, and I always try to find the most beautiful places. And for us, I find it often very difficult to find a, let's say, hotel brand or like a property where we can go and check in that really fully resonates with us. Maybe it's a beautiful location, good food, but then the people are really so boring or uninspired, and you just see like, quote unquote, bored really wealthy people that just come like super stressed from their office, and they're just like not inspired, right? So some of the 5-star places, they're a little bit boring, I would say. I mean, they're really boring, actually, to be honest. And then, for example, there's maybe one brand that had its good time, Six Senses. They tried to incorporate sustainability, and they have some for, I would say, for a hotel brand that got bought by Intercontinental Group. They do pretty well. But then you get a welcome drink, it's full of sugar. And in the minibar, you get like gummies and gummy bear. And I don't know, it just does not, it's not really aligned. And they add, I think, wellness to the program because they hear it sounds sexy to have a wellness program in the offering. We feel what we want. We want to go to a place that's beautiful, honors nature, like works with natural ingredients, has beautiful architecture, cares about the details of everything, the little details. Does not feel like an investor project. Feels like the place has soul, and has an amazing offering, and has inspiring people. So this is what we are looking for, and we don't find so much. I mean, there might be like one place here and one place there, and maybe there is a retreat, and then it's good for 7 days, and then it goes back to boring. But we are kind of like, where is this place? And we feel like this place does not really exist. And if it does, please tell us, because we want to visit it. But we want to create something like that here. We want to create. Also, we have some ideas and dreams, actually, what we are working on to also, what I mentioned, to be inclusive. We want to have like different, for all budgets, basically. So we are already starting with the camping, because we think that usually the camping people are the coolest. They are the most inspired, they're the most fun and creative, but it's like in nature, right? It's not only if you only have an olive grove and no other trees, something is missing, right? In permaculture and polyculture, you have like diversity, right? And so we want to bring diversity also within our audience and audience. I mean, from our guests or co-creators. So we would love to have like different tiers and different budgets. So camping, maybe glamping, a little bit like lower medium price, and then maybe we are dreaming of a very beautiful hotel that's kind of anchored in permaculture principles and well-being around healthy longevity and well-being, also physical well-being and spiritual well-being, and built with natural materials and just create like something really beautiful, a hotel where you can check in and have a great experience and then leave inspired. But then also, so that might be for a medium budget, and then maybe we have a few more luxurious villas, because maybe there are some more affluent people that want to bring their tribe and create retreats in a smaller closed setting for those. So we want to really ideally be inclusive with what we offer, with a very strong approach of quality and care, love, soul. I feel like to do something, it's always with soul. Our favorite restaurant here, by the way, is Laham's food truck. So it's a beautiful woman from Israel, and she has so much love for the food, and you can taste it, right? And I really invite you to go there. It's just down there, a road on the right side, very, very humble. But this is we love this, you know. When people do something with love, you taste it, right? And this is really what I invite for the Colibri vision, and this is what we try to achieve also. And you might see it, and I know that many of you do see it and appreciate the love and the care that we give to the details and the flowers and the plants and the altars and just like the toilets. Like we want to have the most beautiful toilets at a festival, right? Because usually it's not a good experience. And with the food, I know we are not perfect. I know the lines are still way too long, but we want to have like really amazing food, like made with love. And Esko, if you have a chance to meet him, this guy is full of love. You see his eyes, and this guy is just a pure inspiration for what he does. Like it's so beautiful, and he tastes this ice cream, and I taste it, and I say, "Wow, this is amazing! This this is not an ice cream. This is way too good to be an ice cream. And he said, no, this is made out of coconut and real Madagascar beans for the vanilla and sweetened with nectar of the grapes. And I was like, wow, like this is amazing, right? And he tells me a story about every dish and where he sources the ingredients. And this is art, I think, and this is what we want to share. I mean, just with the food, but also with all the offerings. Like everything is an offering, right? As we hear down there, it seems like a good party going on. So this is really a little bit in our DNA that we want to share magic by people that are passionate and have a passion for handcrafts. Also, we want to bring this back. I recently met a woman, typical Greek woman. She's probably in her 80s, black dress, and she invited me to her home, and it's full of the most beautiful flowers, and she has all these beautiful hand stitched pieces on her wall, and she's just full of passion for plants and for this art craft. And I say, I want you to teach at Colibri. I want you to give workshops. And same with the indigenous, right? I mean, let's bring these art crafts back. Let's learn how to make instruments or how to play the instruments. Like, and this leads me to another big passion that we have, and this kind of a bit further in our dreams. We want to create a school of life. We call it a school of life, where we can learn what we don't learn at school, and what we feel is actually really needed. It is, and it starts from relating, to communicating, to working with Mother Nature. Like, I had no idea. I was living in New York. I was living in Berlin, Munich. Like, I saw a vegetable only in a supermarket, right? In a plastic thing. I had no idea. Like, where do they think? Like, how does a carrot grow? Like, I have no idea. And I think most people have no idea. And I think we need to know, because it's the most beautiful thing to grow their own food. And I think we need to relearn that. And this is what I learned from the indigenous, and that's why I have such a big gratitude for them, that they receive us in the middle of the Amazon, where I can witness how tribes still live like they used to live thousands of years ago. Still, yeah, now technology is there, but they still live in harmony with nature, and they value nature. They know the plants. Like, everybody knows every plant there. They tell you the healing powers of every plant, and every plant has healing powers. Even the old women, the wearing in black here, the Greek, like they're like in the winters, they're in the grasses and they're picking stuff, and we're like, well, but that's weed. No, that's medicinal plants, but only they know. So we want to really transmute this wisdom that's there from the witches, the herbalisms, and the people that understand plants, and we want to learn about that, like, and we want to teach that. We think it's very important that. I mean, I want to learn it personally, and that's why we are creating our own permaculture project in our home, which we want to create a little showcase, which we also want to create in every location that we have. That's why we just hired this beautiful couple that you hopefully meet, Bridie and Kyle. They are like true permaculture enthusiasts and really passionate. And now we're building a pond, a biopond, and they're building it right now, actually. And we are bringing animals, and we want to learn more about the anthroposophical approach, not only permaculture, but how can we incorporate animals also to this whole ecosystem, and just learn to live in harmony with nature. So now we have about more than 100 feathered friends, chicken and guinea fowls, and they're the most magical, the guinea fowls. Who knows a guinea fowl? All right. They're the most amazing. It's kind of a chicken breed, but they look like aliens. They're super fast, they're super loud, they're like watchdogs, they're most fascinating animals. We have Egyptian runner ducks, we have Indian runner ducks and Egyptian Nile geese, for example, or Pagonis peacocks and turkeys, and they just have babies, and we have a lot of ducks, different ducks. It's just so beautiful to live with animals. Now we have cows also. And we have horses and ponies and donkeys, and one donkey got a baby, and it's just this is what we want. I mean, for me, it's my childhood dream. Like my childhood dream was to be a farmer. My mother always say, first you wanted to be a farmer, then you want to be a farmer with a Porsche, and then only Porsche. I never liked Porsche actually, but I did like Aston Martin. But now I don't care about this anymore. Now I'm so happy about like this privilege to live with animals, and that my son actually grows up with animals, and this is something we want to share in the Colibri ecosystem. So we said we want to have these places where we have animals around everywhere. You see animals, you hear them. Actually, it's sometimes quite challenging at night because the geese, they're like very territorial. So at night they're really loud also. And the roosters start at 4 o'clock in the morning. And the donkeys, when they are horny, they make interesting sounds also. They are usually horny, so it's quite interesting. But it's very beautiful. So in School of Life, this is what we feel. Not only the children, but also the children. But my dream is I'm also friends with John Hardy, who started the Green School in Bali, that maybe some of you have heard of. It's a school centered around built in beautiful structures, only bamboo, and the curriculum is centered around teaching children how to live in harmony with nature. And they have a real degree. So you get a degree there and you can go to university. And I really like this idea. It's a little bit, how do you say, it's quite expensive, so it's a little bit, but they also have some programs for underprivileged, whatever, like people who cannot afford it. But I love the concept, but we want to take it a little bit more holistically. So like how to grow up in harmony with nature, but then also how to relate with people, how to work with animals, how to learn art crafts, how to learn from indigenous. So that's why we really have a very strong passion to give the indigenous a stage to share their wisdom. And they carry so much wisdom, not just ayahuasca and I mean the ceremonies. I mean, when you see them here without having had the ceremony, I think it's hard to really closely grasp the magic that they really bring to the table. When you sit in ceremony, then it's just so much more to it. But it's not just plant medicines that what I think is so fascinating. It's just the fact, like the prayers, the honoring, like the living in harmony, not only with nature, but also they're always in family. So, for example, I did a dieta, and then we got invited to Nueva Esperanza, which is the largest village of the Yawanawas, with 300 people living there. And there was a Tuesday, and there was a ceremony. And there were 150 people taking part, only from the village. And they started from small children to an elderly woman. She was like that, very small already, with beautiful hair. And I think she was more than 110 years old, and she was there until the morning, the sunrise came, and they were all praying, dancing, receiving healings, and the sunrise came, and they were all laughing and praying and dancing together around the fire. And I said to the chief of Nueva Esperanza, Isku, I said, thank you so much, Isku, for organizing this for us. And he laughed at me. I said, you know what? This is our life. This is what we do twice a week. So they basically have like what we call a big ceremony, like wedding party. This is their life. And I see the Peu who is here. He's one of the main shamans of the Yawanawa. Very, very humble guy. He's the main shaman. So whenever somebody has a health issue, they go to him during the ceremony, and he gives a vakush, a healing. And then they go, and then they don't have a doctor there or anything. And the elders, Tata, I think his age was 107, and Yava, he was like close to 110. No doctors, just medicines and community, dancing and singing. So alegria, as you probably heard this many times, them saying so alegria, only joy. This is their theme. And also here, I mean, you probably have heard about the studies of blue zones and longevity, and there are some Greek islands that have been studied, the people, they turn really old, those who are living in community, and they are really engaging with their families, and they're living and celebrating and having a good time in their lives. And those are the ones who also grow old, next to eating healthy and moving. And we want to kind of like bring this wisdom from the elders, the ancestral wisdom, but also combine it with some technologies. I think there's some new interesting stuff happening. Actually, before this, I was a guinea pig just now with the doctor from the US with the stem cell therapy. I did this because I invited them because I had a shoulder injury from kite surfing, and it was literally 8 doctors who told me I needed surgery. I had a surgery here, which went wrong. I got an infection at a famous hospital in New York, and I said, no fucking way, I'm gonna do another surgery. So I was looking for alternatives, and then I was at a conference in Portugal on the boat, and then there were these guys, and I spontaneously said, okay, give me a stem cell injection in my left shoulder, because they tell me the rotator cuff is completely torn, so I need surgery, so nothing to lose. And really, I could not lift my arm, and now I'm pressing weights 15 kilos here again, and it really it worked. It worked for me. So I feel like there's more to it about the stem cell science and the stem cells there in our body. So it's nothing artificial. So I feel like there are some interesting methodologies from new technologies that we can apply. I do believe very much in. I'm a very optimistic person. I believe that we are entering very positive times, also with the rise of AI, which is also scary, I know. But I think it can be scary, but it matters how we program it. And if we program it in a good way, I think it can be very, very powerful. And that's a subject that I'm personally very interested in. And also crypto technologies, I think, will allow and enable so much more, and they will skip contracts and notaries and lawyers and allow us and will allow us to spend more time in places like this. I do believe that we will have more opportunities to spend more time in nature, more time with our families, more time to create beautiful things, because it will be easier to make money, because other people will do other people or robots will do the work that we don't want to do. So how can we use these technologies? So that's another vision that we have, or idea, or actually a project that we're working on. I want to organize a summit where we can bridge ancient wisdom with longevity, like latest science around longevity, but healthy. I don't like this. I mean, I respect this guy who is avoiding the sunlight and is like conserving his, wants to live 200. But that's not like longevity. For me, longevity is happy longevity, not like doing weird things just to live long. So healthy longevity, bridging with ancient wisdom and artificial intelligence and crypto. So I'm dreaming of a summit where we bring these people together and see how we can use these technologies and these pillars of wisdom and abilities to anchor this in co-creating heaven on earth. And I think there's a lot of magical things that can sprout of that. And so I'm thinking and I invite all of you, I'm sure maybe some of you have some ideas to make this a magical experience. That the Colibri Festival is maybe 80% experiences and concerts and activations, and maybe 20% talks, and maybe this is more like a conference type of situation, or a summit, or like a World Economic Forum around co-creating heaven on earth, where we have maybe 80% talks, and hopefully we can invite the most inspiring people, the most influential people, and then we can create showcases, how we can also benefit communities, for example, and just do like amazing things. So that's something we're thinking to do, maybe a 3-day summit, maybe before the next Colibri Spirit Festival, and then see what comes out of this. So we feel we're in a very exciting time. I think it's a very exciting time to be in. And I feel the calling to create something that is really beautiful in the here and now for us, that I and my family and my friends and you can immediately benefit from, like this festival right now. I think we'll all walk away with a big smile in our hearts. But then also plant some seeds of seeds that hopefully sprout to something very meaningful, like creating meaningful things, whatever it is, thoughts or intentions, prayers that facilitate peace, or new ventures. I met many people that say, oh, I got inspired by Colibri and now we're doing a Colibri Spirit Festival in Thailand, or we do one in Tasmania, or we got inspired by Bali Spirit Festival, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong and there's no competition, I think, in creating beautiful things. But for me, it's about inspiration. And I would like, with the Colibri mission, to create something that is inspiring. It's a little bit of a showcase also for big corporations. So, like, how can we be a showcase and create something magical with the good stuff, like with the spiritual tools, but also with new technologies, but even like how we build, for example. Or there is another way to build other than concrete, right? And ugly. There is another way, right? Why not use like these new or ancient materials, right? Bridging it with new technology. We have a big problem here with water. Right? There's not this water that we drink here comes from trucks that are delivered because it's just broken the system. But there must be ways to generate water, clean drinking water, and make that available. So how can we do this, solve this problem, and then share this technology? How can we create a festival that is sustainable? And quite frankly, a festival like this is not easy. I mean, we have now, I think, almost 300 people working in the production for this, and it is that I am personally putting a lot of money that is basically needed to sustain this festival. So we're losing every year, I would say, minimum $500,000. I know you guys are buying tickets, but it's just not enough. And they all say it takes 5 years to make a festival like this sustainable. Our mission is not to make money out of that, but our mission is to make it profitable, because it needs to be profitable. Otherwise, it always depends on a guy like me to support this. So everything we do needs to be sustainable at some point. Otherwise, Leo or my grandchildren always need to go this, and this is not sustainable. So it needs to be sustainable. And I was lucky enough to have a little bit of savings, and it's not that much, not as much as you maybe see when you read my Wikipedia, but it is enough to at least plant some seeds. We are now in a position where we actually need to also find some other ways of raising money, which I was very conscious to not do until now, because I also burned my fingers. Like, I raised a lot of money from investors, but sometimes this money that you get from investors is attached to a expectation of a return on investment. And for me, it's very delicate. I think this mission that we are on should not be poisoned by this kind of like, I give you money, but I want that and that back. So I'm trying to find a way how we can do this. So one idea that we have is to create a hotel, but then also create some bungalows, beautiful kind of bungalow-style villas that we can maybe sell to maybe some of you. So you have kind of like people that are believers and supporters of the vision, so they can own these bungalows, but then also they are kind of like in the pool of our operations, and they can generate some returns. But with this cash flow, we can support the acquisition of the lands and the build out, and maybe in combination with some subsidies from European governments, which is quite annoying. If there's somebody out there that is very much aligned and has the means, because I know there are people out there that have more than they need. Like, I was one of them, and I just decided to put everything in this basket, and I feel like it's the right thing. If there's somebody else out there that feels the calling and this vibrates, and you have the money sitting in some kind of like account, and you feel like you want to do something fun and meaningful, then let's talk. We definitely, our mission, I think it's more like 100 million investment that we are thinking over the next years. But this investment, again, for me, feels like planting seeds, right? So, I mean, money is energy. And I know affluent people, and not many of them are really happy. So I feel like it's good to do something good, right? It feels good, and to move this energy. If it's just sitting on a bank account, or whatever, like in an investment, I don't know. For me, my experience is I still do some investments because I feel like maybe they generate also some support for this. But I put everything in this basket, and sometimes it feels weird because like the team Volkan tells me, oh, we need another 500,000 until Thursday. And I was like, oh shit, where do I get this from? And then I have to sell something. And I was like, oh, crypto is not really good right now. So I still have to sell it because we have 50 people on the payroll. So it's kind of stressful, but it was stressful with every company that I did that was not profitable. Once they start generating. Anyway, it's not easy. So if you do something like that, and I know many of you have similar dreams, it's not going to be easy. It will be easier if you have maybe some partners with financial background. But the money is there. I mean, there's so many people that have so much money. So this money is there. We just need to bring them in. But I also recommend to not do anything where you're super dependent on others. Just do your thing and do it with passion. Start with a small food truck like Aham, and do it with passion and love, and something will come out of that. But my dream is also create a showcase, because we're learning so much. What works, what not. So maybe we can create a blueprint of how to create a festival like that, or how to create a brand like that, right? With the accommodations. Now we are trying, like with the glamping tents, and we're trying. It's just an experiment, but we would like to share these learnings with all of you who are maybe want to try something else. And we appreciate learning from our friends, and I'm so glad that many of them are coming here now. For example, our dear friend who started Tierra Iris in Ibiza. It's a beautiful small community. I think it does very beautiful things. Or our friend from Costa Rica, Stephen Brooks, who is a pioneer in creating communities and ecovilla, and he started the oldest permaculture farm in Costa Rica. He's an amazing guy. You will really enjoy him talking. To learn from Orpheus, like he has created his community, but also we invited the organizers from Medicine Festival, and I hear the organizer of Hedone Festival, which is a very interesting concept. Unfortunately, I'm now in a committed relationship, but they seem to have a lot of fun. And there's so many different aspects of community buildings, and I think it's beautiful if we come together and we learn from each other. Also, there's other challenges. I mean, we're coming to a place. It's a small village. I would say the locals really appreciate what we do, because we bring you guys, and you're staying in their apartments and hotels and eating in their restaurants. But there is a community of locals that maybe moved here, and they are feeling pushed out, right? And maybe they want to be on stage here, but they cannot, because we have a certain number of people that we can host, and we don't want to have 100 stages. So we want, and then we realize there are some haters also. Like really, like there are some haters. They say, oh, this millionaire guy comes here and wants to buy everything, and he's polluting our. I'm surprised. There's a lot of hate. I mean, I know this. Some of them were hating everything before me already, so I don't take it personally, but I do take it personally also, because I want to be good, you know. We want to do good, but we are stepping on toes. I mean, some of our neighbors are not happy, right? I mean, they're calling us, oh, what the fuck are you doing? This music here yesterday at 10, like, they're staying there, and then we can say, yeah, many people are really happy, and yeah, we have to take it in account that a few people are not happy. But at least we try. I mean, the more you do, the more you step on people's toes. And we try to, that's why we are excited about the Colibri Beach, where we can open the stage to more people and more artists, because I know that the local community has amazing artists. We want to give them a stage and to be able to co-create with us. We have many projects that we are personally also very passionate about. I don't know if you saw that there's a huge garbage dumpster just a few hundred meters up the road on what I think is one of the most beautiful coast roads in Europe, between here and Afionas. There's a massive garbage dumpster where the locals have been throwing down construction garbage, fridges and cars since more than 10 years. I don't think they do it with a bad intention. The grandparents have done this with chopped woods and debris, right? But now it doesn't degrade so easily, right? With all this plastic and we decided to. We don't want this. I mean, this is our living room, right? So we have a big initiatives to help. To clean up the gardens, our gardens, and we feel it's not in our garden, but it is in our garden, because this is all our garden to support these kind of projects. I mean, we cannot do what we do without tackling these kind of issues. So we have a big new initiative. It's called Colibri Impact, where we're actually raising money. It was initially me who kind of like pays for initiatives, but now we are also inviting some of you to support, maybe with some donations, which we offer also experiences. We offer some free stays in our villas and some experiences, and we're gonna donate the proceeds, 100% of these proceeds, to causes, local causes. Because we said before we support indigenous, let's see what are the problems that are actually here, because here are also indigenous and this is our land. So there's a big problem about garbage and recycling, and there's no drinking water really. We don't have drinking water here. As soon as May comes, we turn on the pipe in our in our living room. There's no water coming, so we have to buy water with trucks. So we need to find a solution for that. They say Brazil is a third world country. To me, this feels like if Brazil is a third world country, this is like a sixth world country. Which, I mean, is beautiful also in a sense, but also challenging in when you look at, because there's no recycling. People don't know where to put their garbage. There's no drinking water. So there's a lot of things that need to be done. I think we are passionate also about education, so we want to support local school projects, alternative school projects next to our own project. So this is what we want to do. We want to do something good for the neighbors. We want to have good relationships with the neighbors. We want to educate them. We are planting, it's a funny story, I mean, we are planting our permaculture garden, and our neighbor that we really love, there's a fence, and next to the fence he sprays with Roundup, glyphosate, literally 10 centimeters away on the other side from our fence where we plant our vegetables. But he doesn't, I asked him, what are you doing? I said, this is poison to kill the grass. He was very proud of poison to kill the grass. I was like, okay, yeah, but he does not know, you know. I mean, Roundup causes cancer, right? And he doesn't want to cut the grass, right? He doesn't have time to do that, right? He has a restaurant here, one of the first restaurants here, and that's what they do. They have the dogs on their chains. There's a few things that need to be educated without. It's not easy, right? My heart rate goes up. I mean, here, we are working here, and then some of the team come to me, and I cannot breathe because the neighbor sprays Roundup next to his potato field. Most of the olive groves here are sprayed. They spray Roundup because the grass needs to be cut because there's a fire hazard. They're obliged to take care of the grass because of a fire hazard. So they do Roundup on the floor, and they spray the olive trees to get the bugs out, right? So I do not recommend you to eat local olive oil that's not organic, to be honest. But I think they just don't know. So I think that we have a responsibility to teach them without teaching them, you know, without pointing the finger. So that's why we try to do good things. So we had a cleanup just 2 days before the festival, and it was more like we had people from the team, and we organized some recycling trucks, containers, and we went there, and we saw this is actually really, really heavy. Like, I had some tears in my eyes when I went down there and saw the amount of trash that's down there, and with the next rain it goes into the ocean. And we did a video, and then we had a meeting with the mayor of North Corfu, and we showed them this, and it was really funny because there was also a minister of cleanliness. And she did not know about this. And I was so happy to see her emotions. She got so angry, and all of a sudden they started screaming each other. And then the next day they sent a big truck because you cannot do this manually. So now they put it on their agenda too. So at least, I mean, a little bit of a Greenpeace action. But we will not. This is just the beginning. It's our gardens, and I believe co-creating heaven on earth is not in the outside. I think the biggest contribution that we can do for co-creating heaven on earth is to find peace inside. Make peace inside ourselves. Open our hearts, heal our hearts, make peace with our neighbors. Our neighbors. I think we can all look into Gaza and Israel and there, but I mean, I think this is just a reflection of what's going on with the most people inside. It's just a mirror, and I believe the biggest contribution that we can do is to heal ourselves and to open our hearts and to find the balance and to raise the frequency, our frequency, and then we can emanate this to other places where it's needed through our prayers. And this is what I feel is the mission of Colibri. Co-creating heaven on earth starts within ourselves and then share it like the colibri with the rest of the world. And with these words, I would like to invite you guys to ask questions and, ideas. Efim. We have a microphone.
Sorry. Okay, so Constantin, if I understood you correctly, you do welcome investors who share with you same vision of love, kindness, to work here and help in same projects or bring some new projects?
Yes, we do that. It's for us, it's a co-creation. It should not be like Constantin and Evie's vision. We feel this is our dream. I know it's a collective vision and a collective dream. We're here to give our medicine, our gifts, to make things happen, but we cannot do this alone, so we actually invite like-minded people. We would like to, I think we have a pretty clear understanding and a little bit of concern that we have. We bring an investor and then they say instead of the yoga deck, we want a helicopter pad, landing pad. So this is not this kind of investor, but if it's kind of, really anchored and rooted into the same philosophy, then yes.
Thank you very much.
Ciao, Constantin.
Ciao,
Here
ciao.
we are again, a year after the speech of yours that changed my life, I must say. And thank you, because the vision you're sharing today, it's in my heart. Like, I was speaking to my friend Carla about the same thing, like school and education, and this is beautiful. So let's say I have a retreat coming up in April in Bali. And let's say that I haven't advertised it yet. And can we do this here?
Can you do it here?
In April next year, 2026, yes.
Here.
Yes.
Yeah, this is what
So
we're...
will you be ready for like accommodations and how?
There's already some...
Okay, we can co-create this, I think is the answer, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is what we
Yes,
what we
because
would like.
I love Bali and it's been amazing. However, like, I do want to hold space for Italian women to be reborn.
So Italy is 100 kilometers away from here. On a good
Yes.
day, we can see the shore. We can give...
Yeah, but Bali was the best place I could find energetically. And when I came back this year, this is so much homey, beautiful, rooted, energetic feeling. So maybe we don't need to go all the way up there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I had a microphone. Should I just go?
Where's the voice coming?
I'm not speaking. I'm over here.
Here. Okay.
Hi, Constantin. Thank you so much for sharing your personal story and your mission of Colibri. I think just with my permission and your permission, I'll take some time to try to formulate this question to you. Um, I think what you're doing is so beautiful, and something that I experience as a participant to go to these events and to come to this beautiful festival is that it's an activation, it's an initiation. But what about creating communities that are sustainable for a longer period? Because it's so easy to come to these places and show our best faces and our best versions. But what about the friction? What about co-creating a system and values? And, you know, for someone who has a crazy dream like you of wanting to buy lands, but most to create communities, maybe with friends and family first, and to like expand a nucleus. What is your take on this? What can you say?
I did not know this. I come from a bigger family in Austria, but I only kind of recognized real community living when I was with the indigenous, when I was living with the Yawanawas, for example. I've seen communities, but I think there's not so many successful concepts out there which is not based on a guru or something. I don't know. Maybe it's Pachamama, but there's also I don't know. I've never been there, but that's what I hear. But there's I think some things are broken, and then there's scandals, right, and some sex stuff, and I don't know. Like, but like a healthy community, I personally have only experience in the Amazon with indigenous. And what are they? They're a family. I mean, they're all literally there's 1,400 Yawanawas, and they are really their last name is Yawanawa. You know how they do it? They marry their cousins. It's no joke. So the chief is married with his cousin. Like everybody marries their cousin, first cousin, and they're the most intelligent people that I know. So there's nothing. They don't have 3 eyes or something. So. But to your question, I think we can all. I really invite you or want to encourage you to spend time with these tribes, if it calls you. And like spend time there. They are so welcoming, and it's just so much wisdom. I think there's a saying. Somebody says the future is ancestral. I think we need to come back to what our grandparents were living. Right, they were living it. Even the elders here, they were living it. They were living like our neighbor who is now spraying around. He was born in that house, home birth, and he was living with his family, and they were having their cows and their chickens, and they were doing the olive and fishing and community. Yeah, and they are called Bardis, by the way. Here, the local Yawanawas are Bardis, one of them. So, but they lost it, right? Now, like even the Yawas, unfortunately, they start not to have home birth anymore. But anyway, I think we can learn from the indigenous tribes. Like the more original they are, the more we can learn from them. And this is what I envision to bring here. And I mentioned the School of Life. We are dreaming of a land that's a bit further inland, which is bigger, much bigger than here. That has ideally enough space so we can build a school and we can create a village for the teachers, for the co-creators, for the artists. I call you guys magicians, to live there and to co-create. And everybody of you has, and everybody of us has a medicine to share, a gift, right? And ideally, everybody has the opportunity to share it and to teach it, right? With a recording music studio, with art workshops and sustainable building workshops and all this. This is what I think, like replicate that indigenous model. Not the guru. I don't know. For me, the guru thing, I think we all our own gurus. We don't need a guru. Yeah. We are our own gurus, and it's amazing to be with another group of gurus, right? I mean, everybody of you is a guru. So, but not like one guru. I don't think. I mean, maybe they are inspiring sometimes, but I think the indigenous model is what can be or should be now come back to life, because we lost it through industrial revolution and to all these things. But with the Zoom now and with all this, we don't need to go to an office. We don't need to live in a city. I think none of us needs to live in a city and go to an office. Everything is now possible in nature. Let's do it here, in places like that, all over the world, outside of nature. Maybe in cities also, but I think nature is more amazing.
I have the mic, so I just go. But thank you so much for
Do
sharing your
do
story.
you mind lifting your sunglasses?
Yes.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for sharing your story. Super inspiring. My question is like regarding co-creation, because like I'm moving in a paradise on earth in Panama. So I've been going back and forth for 3 years, and now I'm moving for good as a base. And I wanted to know, like, if you were thinking maybe in the future to bring a Colibri Festival around the world, or if it was possible then to share like some of the knowledge that you've gained over like these 3 years of editions with other people that might be interested in doing something similar. Because like this festival is unique, you know, like usually you have wellness activities as well as like you party hard. And this is just like wellness, which is beautiful, I think and believe. So, yeah.
Thank you. I think I would love to see like, and I do see more festivals coming, and some of them use our fonts and our Instagram layout. So I think the first reaction is like, they are copying us, and then they are copying us. Yeah, we can be an inspiration, right? I think there is a chance that not just the festival, but yeah, I think maybe if there's a land that really calls us, like this land called us, really. I mean, this was not, we didn't choose this land. It kind of like chose us. And I know there are some other portals in this planet that might choose Colibri, but if you found your portal that chose you in Panama, you should do it yourself. Or find people that you don't wait for a Colibri, because we are quite busy here. Like, we are not ready for Panama yet. So don't wait, just do it and start small. It doesn't need to be big.
So now you, this guy with the cappy, please.
Hello?
Yes, great. So first of all, Vienna sends greetings.
Servus.
Servus. I feel that many more people from Vienna should come next year. I think we're underrepresented. But there are a few. Very nice. The second, I wanted to share a download that I got when you mentioned the conference. And it might sound a bit random, but I imagined you announcing Deepak Chopra on stage. I don't know if you resonate or not, but this was something very interesting. I went to Mallorca last year, and there I saw a beautiful place in the north of Mallorca, where he was doing what I think good stuff. So it was like, interesting that this came in the moment. And thirdly, I just want to ask you something, because I feel like you're giving so much here with everything, like with your resources, but mostly with your being, with your intention and with your presence. If there would be one thing that you could wish for, that maybe one person here, maybe me, maybe I know someone, could do for you in the next 3 months in order to make the biggest difference or impact to support you on that dream, what would that be?
Thank you for this question. It's quite easy. It's 10 million euros for the mission, and creative. I call the people like Volkan, for example, like Volkan or Julia, who is shy, but Julia is kind of the operational mastermind behind this operation here. But people that are willing to work towards the vision without, I mean, I think there are two types of people. Like, some people say, oh, Colibri, it's fun, island life, and I want to come because I want to heal. But the mission requires a lot of like actual real work. So somebody like we are, I think the team is growing, and my dream is, and it's coming along actually with Volkan, is Julia and Kati, who does the artist curation and management, and her partner Max. These people are actually real friends. So they become friends because they resonate with the mission to really have like a family of friends, hardworking friends, because we're all hardworking. Yeah? But also we are enjoying. Like we are in meetings all the time, and then Julia calls, "Can I come over with my little son?" And then we go to the beach together. So I think this is really beautiful. So more of these amazing people, and we have a lot of open roles, and there will be much more. So to summarize, I would say it's money, but the right money, and money with a heart, and support in terms of really doing. Not just there are so many people. Oh, I want to help, but then nothing really comes. But therefore, we have Anderson here. I just saw him. He's just an amazing being who moved here out of the blue from Brazil because he heard there's a festival. It was not even a festival. He came here with his beautiful girlfriend in the middle of the winter when it's not like this now. And I think he really felt the calling to be part of this mission, and he's working his ass off, and he has a big smile, and he comes to me and says, "I'm so grateful to be part of this." So these are the people that we love to have in the team.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Francesca.
Hi, Francesca.
So I come from Sardinia, an island, another really beautiful, powerful island. And I moved there 3 years ago, and with a lot of resistance, I opened a chiropractic office. They told me, "No, don't go there. You're not gonna do success there." So I went anyway, and actually we grew a lot in the last 3 years. And I felt that I needed to express my artistic side. So in the back of the office, I opened like a salotto, where we do a lot of things.
A what?
A salotto, like a living room, like nice living room. It's a big space with outside areas, and
Like this one.
yeah, I mean not really big. It's in the city center.
Okay.
It's in the main road, and but since 10 years, I've been writing in all my journals about a huge project. It's really big. It's like probably as big as this, and so 2 years ago, I broke up with my boyfriend. We were creating a lot together. So now I kind of feel alone to do all of this. But in many ceremonies, I felt this huge call, and I'm kind of afraid that I'm alone doing that, even though I'm surrounded of really beautiful people. And I feel like that is too big. So many lands appear, and also before coming here, another land appear, they send me. So Sardinia is really rough island, so it's not easy to bring something like that there, even though communities are coming, foreign are coming. And sometimes I question myself if maybe I'm not ready yet, or it's just my resistance, and I'm too young to start something like this, even though I have a lot of energy, like huge amount of energy to do things. Also, I'm managing a chiropractic office by myself. I'm leading like this community there in the city, but I feel that this is like the next level, and maybe it's too big. So I want to hear from you, like if maybe the call is not there yet, or like maybe having your blessing or whatever.
Thank you for sharing so open. I can tell you, I think over the last 20 years, wherever I went, I was looking for lands, like everywhere. And I did not know really why, but everywhere I looked. So, and I think when the time is right, universe will tell you. And then it's not like you are struggling, but then it's like a magnet, bam, with everything, right? With your new partner that you will meet soon, with the land and with the timing. It's all about timing. You feel something, it will happen. And maybe you join something, or maybe you will have a baby soon, and plans are changing. But don't force it. just allow it. I know Steffi is feeling the same. She wants to find the land, and she's looking. She feels the call, but just let it sprout. Like I'm like that. I'm the most impatient person. But when the fruit is ripe, then we should harvest it. The fruit that is not ripe, it's hard to get, and then you taste it, and it's not good, yet. So let's wait until the fruits are ripe, and I need to learn that myself and remind myself, because I'm a very impatient guy. But my wife, and I'm telling you, I could not do anything of this without my wife. I mean, really, I just does what she tells me to. It would be, I would be a colibri with one wing flying in circles. No, really, it is. I could not do anything even close without my wife. So it is really, and I was in relationships before, and it's just also there. I kind of gave up on having an amazing relationship, right? So, but then all of a sudden, now it's here, but it's also work. Yeah? Also that is work. Yeah? It's a lot of work, and now everything gets also not easier. Like I always say, it's like a Super Mario game. Yeah, you think it's already difficult, and then next year it's 10 times more difficult. Yeah? And we did everything, and we were kind of like exhausted already, and then now we have a child. And I'm sleeping with Leo since 6 weeks in the bed, so my Aura ring tells me red every day when I look at my sleep score. And I was like, what the fuck, like I need to be rested because I need to do all this, but then I'm taking care of Leo, and it's the most beautiful thing. And like Super Mario game always gives you another level. Thomas knows that with 2 children, and everybody who has children knows that. Luckily, we have Margit taking care of Leo 2 hours a day. Margit is Leo's first girlfriend. So much love between them. Yeah, just don't stress about eating a fruit that's not ripe, and when it's ripe, it will pop in your face. It will, like a nectar, it will drip in your mouth.
Okay, give a round of applause for Constantin. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And feel free to connect. Feel free to connect and enjoy your time here and share your love. Thank you. Thank you.